We're going to move on now. Markets are actually digesting President Trump's address in Davos. Here to discuss the Kobeissi letter, editor-in-chief Adam Kobeissi. And Adam, what did you make of that? I mean, in particular, you had some of the most powerful banking executives in the world. You had Steve Schwarzman, you had Brian Moynihan. He kind of made a little bit of a dig at Moynihan. I'm not sure if you heard that, and Jamie Dimon, about how the banks treat conservatives. I found that interesting. But your thoughts on what you heard from President Trump?
I mean, I think, look, the market going into Inauguration Day was obviously more volatile. We saw the S&P fall around 5–6% from its highs, and I think it ultimately became a sell the rumor, buy the news event with Trump's inauguration, as we're seeing now. I mean, I think over the last 10 sessions, the S&P's up over 300 points. And markets have priced out a little bit of the uncertainty that we saw going into the new administration. I think obviously there is still a lot of uncertainty, but you know, even with Trump's announcement today that he's planning on lowering corporate tax rates from 21% to 15% on products made in the U.S., a lot of these policies are kind of focused around America first, and I think there will be companies that benefit from it. There'll be companies that don't benefit from it. But as a whole, I think the market right now has seen a little bit of relief, and that's why we're trading back towards all-time highs.
He was speaking to the Davos group, obviously, in that panel with the World Economic Forum, and the theme of Davos this year has been all about AI. Then you get the Stargate announcement from these three leaders. What did you make of that, and how this kind of impacts the AI industry? Certainly, I would think a lot more capital is going to be flowing into not just the main players in the AI industry, but also some of the smaller companies.
Yeah, I mean, I think that announcement is basically Trump saying the U.S. wants to be the leader in AI. And we have, you know, the largest tech companies in the world, the Magnificent Seven, now worth you know, more than the stock market of most countries combined, more than the entire European stock market combined. I think we really want to kind of solidify these companies as the leaders in AI and developing infrastructure. And even NVIDIA now trading back towards its all-time highs. That NVIDIA produces or controls 90% of the global AI chip market. So I think the goal here is to kind of maintain that competitive advantage, especially as we have had the first mover advantage with a lot of these AI advancements. And I think for these large cap tech stocks, that's exactly what you want to hear. I think to sustain momentum that we've seen over the last year and a half, 2 years, you need some things like we're seeing now.
You know, it's also, too, the energy component of all of this is very crucial. If you're talking about building out these data centers on American soil, starting with Texas, other places, of course, that is going to be, you know, pressure on, say, the energy grid of Texas, which is a question that's fair enough to ask. But overall, if you have domestic energy prices that are lowered under a Trump administration, if you have exports of LNG going to Western Europe under a Trump administration, which is the expectation now, does that actually become a market negative if you're an investor in a company like an Oxy or a Chevron?
Yeah, I mean, I think we actually have been bearish of oil prices for the last few weeks, calling for prices to fall back below 70 next. I think, and even just now, President Trump said that OPEC needs to lower oil prices. I think this will be a common theme, and I think the thought process here is tariffs might be inflationary. There are some other policies that might be inflationary, but if you can lower energy prices, that might help offset things. So, and Trump has also made it clear he wants to see lower interest rates. Obviously, the Fed operates independently from politics, ideally, but I think it's kind of like you have to weigh both sides of the argument here. Some parts of the policies are going to be inflationary. Other parts of it, you might see energy prices fall, which helps offset some of that inflation. And I think that's a crucial part for the Trump's plan. So yeah, we have been actually bearish of both oil companies and oil prices, and I think that will continue to be the case going forward.
All right. Well, I certainly, Adam, appreciate your perspective on the markets today and seeing how the Trump trade is playing out in this first week of his administration. Thank you for being here. And, you know,
thanks for having me.
President Trump is saying that he wants to meet with Vladimir Putin soon.